Sorting is the process of rearranging elements in a particular order, usually ascending or descending. We will use the sort method to sort array values. If we have a simple string array, the sort method alphabetizes our values. But with numbers and object properties, we're going to need to use something called a compare function. And that's because JavaScript's default sort converts values to strings, which means, for example, 10 would be seen as smaller than 2. We'll use something called a compare function, and this can be reused for many of our sorting scenarios. This is still using the .sort method, but there's an argument that calls a function, and in this example, that function is compareFN. The parameters a and b represent the first two values to compare. The function will be called repeatedly, comparing each value to the next until all are sorted. The return -1 and return 1 determine whether values are moved up or down in the sort. Here's a visual example from a YouTube video. So our Hungarian dancers are representing the different numbers, and they'll go through 2 by 2, like our A and B in our sort list, and decide whether they get a -1 or a +1 and reorder themselves. Okay, I think you get the idea. So that's actually a bubble sort. What's really used with this sort in JavaScript is what's called a TIM sort. So it's a little different, so I thought I would at least show that. Just some visual examples, and you don't really need to understand it at that level, but I thought it would be wise to kind of know what this compare function is doing. That A and B are like the two numbers or the two answers switching and deciding to swap or not. So that basically that's what's happening inside of this function. You'll also want to make sure that your strings are all converted to lowercase, since uppercase and lowercase letters are sorted differently in JavaScript and most programming languages. This is due to character encoding, specifically Unicode or ASCII. For example, in this array, some pets start with uppercase letters. In Unicode, uppercase letters have lower character codes and come before lowercase letters. So just using the .sort directly would give you dog after fish, even though it starts with D, because the F is lower in the encoding. To sort without case issues, you're going to want to convert everything using the dot to lowercase here. And we're also using .map to make a new array of lowercase pets. Then once you sort it, you would get the right order. Let's look at sorting an array of objects. Here we have an array of hikes, each with a name and distance. We can sort this array in multiple ways. We could either sort it by name or by distance. To do that, we're going to use the custom compare function that targets a specific property this time. So for example, to sort by distance, you would go ahead and use the dot notation with the property name, because the first one, A and B, are going to come in, and it's going to look at A's distance and then B's distance, and then keep going through and through and through until they all get sorted properly. But you're using that dot notation because if you just said A and B, it wouldn't know whether you want a name or a distance. So this one is going to display the distance from smallest to longest in our sort. So there we have the dot sort method being used with and without a compare function, and also being used with different types of arrays and array properties.